The region of Yakutia is widely known as one of the coldest, most brutal regions on planet Earth.
This ancient island holds one of the most isolated and primitive tribes still on Earth.
Across frozen tundra and oxygen-thin mountains, humans once believed our limits were immovable. Yet in places where oceans fall silent before tsunamis and divers descend without tanks, survival rewrites biology. Now, we journey into a countdown of 10 extraordinary populations whose bodies forced science to redefine human possibility. Number 10. The Bajau Sea Nomads. For centuries, the Bajau of Southeast Asia have lived so closely with the ocean that scientists once assumed their diving endurance was cultural myth. Yet, in coral reefs stretching across Indonesia and the Philippines, they descend for minutes at a time, spearfishing with wooden goggles and moving as calmly as drifting currents. Research by Melissa Ilardo in Cell 2018 revealed something astonishing. Their spleens are significantly enlarged, acting as natural oxygen reservoirs that release red blood cells during each dive. This adaptation mirrors what trained marine mammals rely on, yet here it appears in humans shaped by generations at sea. Even children begin diving early, learning to slow their heartbeats and read the reef like a living map. For the Bajau, this isn't sport, it is survival, ancestry, and identity. Science once believed lungs defined our underwater limit. The Bajau quietly proved that human biology can reorganize itself around a life lived beneath the waves. Number 9. The Aymara highland adaptation. High on the Andean plateau, where oxygen thins at 3,500 to 4,000 meters, the Aymara people have carved out a life in an atmosphere that challenges every breath. What astonished scientists was not just their resilience, but a specific adaptation seen in Aymara pregnancies: significantly increased uterine artery blood flow that enhances fetal oxygen delivery. In this environment, where hypoxia threatens infant survival, evolution strengthens circulation rather than merely deepening breaths or elevating hemoglobin. The stakes are profound. Newborn life depends on this physiological recalibration. Generations living in thin air-shaped bodies capable of protecting the most fragile stage of human development. Their villages, carved into mountainsides and framed by wind-cut ridges, stand as proof that life can root itself where oxygen nearly fails. Where the world thins, Aymara biology steps in, compensating with an elegance that reframes our understanding of human limits. Number 8. The Hadza foragers. Across the savannas of northern Tanzania, the Hadza live in an environment that mirrors the landscapes where early humans first emerged. Their daily rhythm, walking long distances, hunting, gathering, climbing, digging, creates a physical baseline unmatched in modern societies. Scientists studying their microbiome discovered extraordinary diversity, shifting with seasons and food sources, revealing a metabolic flexibility that industrialized lifestyles have nearly erased. Their digestive systems adapt to fibrous tubers one month and nutrient-rich berries the next, maintaining balance without the chronic inflammation common in sedentary populations. Every aspect of their day demands movement, turning activity into a biological expectation rather than a health intervention. In many ways, the Hadza represent a living snapshot of our evolutionary past, showing how human bodies once synchronized with land, seasons, and effort. They don't pursue fitness, they embody it. Their way of life reminds us that our species evolved for motion, challenge, and constant ecological negotiation. Number 7. The Inuit of Kalaalleq Nunaat. In the Arctic expanse of Greenland, where winter light fades into blue twilight and temperatures drop low enough to freeze exposed breath, the Inuit built a survival system that defied biological expectations. Their traditional diet, rich in marine mammals, omega-3 fats, and dense calories, should, by all established medical logic, clog arteries and strain hearts. Instead, genetic analyses revealed unique fat metabolism variants that regulate lipid processing and support cold thermoregulation, allowing energy to be burned cleanly for heat. These adaptations, shaped by thousands of years of sea ice hunting, reflect a body engineered for extremes. Seal hunting, dog sled routes, and coastal migrations weren't just cultural practices. They were evolutionary pressures that sculpted physiology. While the Arctic crushes unprepared bodies, the Inuit navigate it with a metabolic efficiency seen nowhere else. Their existence demonstrates how environment and diet can push human biology into unexpected configurations, sustaining life where cold rules every decision. Number 6. The Moken Ocean Children. Along the coasts of Thailand and Myanmar, the Moken navigate shallows and reefs with an ease that feels almost amphibious. Spending much of their childhood in the water, they develop an underwater visual acuity that stuns scientists like Anna Ghislaine, who found Moken children can constrict their pupils and change lens shape to focus sharply beneath the surface, an ability most humans never acquire. This adaptation is learned early, shaped by a life dependent on reading currents, spotting shells, and diving repeatedly for food. Yet their cultural memory holds something even more haunting. In 2004, when the sea suddenly fell silent and water withdrew unnaturally from the shore, Moken elders recognized the ancient warning of a coming tsunami. Their communities moved to higher ground before the waves returned. For the Moken, knowledge and biology intertwine, forming a survival system built from generations of living where land and ocean blur into a single, shifting world. Number 5. The Maasai Endurance Culture. Across the equatorial savannas of Kenya and Tanzania, the Maasai thrive in heat that saps strength from unadapted bodies. Their physiology presents a paradox that startled researchers. Despite diets traditionally high in milk, meat, and animal fat, Maasai communities historically showed remarkably low rates of cardiovascular disease. Genetic factors related to fat metabolism, combined with lactase persistence, allow them to process these calories with unusual efficiency. Yet their endurance is not purely biological. Daily herding across vast grasslands hardens cardiovascular systems in ways modern lifestyles rarely replicate. Culturally, the Maasai have also evolved, shifting from lion hunting, once a marker of status, to conservation programs like the Lion Guardians that protect wildlife instead of challenging it. Their story reveals that adaptation extends beyond blood chemistry or genetic inheritance. It also lives in shifting values, environmental stewardship, and communal identity. Among the Maasai, survival is a balance of biology, tradition, and a changing world. Number 4. The Korowai Treehouse Clans. Deep within the rainforests of Papua, the Korowai built their world above the ground, 30 to 40 meters high, where wind moves through the stilts and the forest canopy becomes both shield and territory. In lowlands dense with insects, predators, and disease, height became protection, a structural adaptation rather than a biological one. Their elevated homes allow smoke to drift cleanly, reduce mosquito exposure, and provide early visibility of approaching threats. Mobility is essential. Clans shift locations as resources change, maintaining autonomy within a landscape that demands constant vigilance. Yet the outside world complicated their story. Sensationalized documentaries staged moments for shock value, distorting Korowai life into spectacle rather than reality. The truth is quieter and more strategic. These treehouses embody an engineering response to a challenging environment, refined through generations. In a forest that swallows the unprepared, the Korowai learned to live where danger struggled to follow. Number 3. The Sentinelese Isolation Masters. On North Sentinel Island in the Bay of Bengal, the Sentinelese live behind a natural fortress of reefs, currents, and dense forest, a barrier that has preserved their isolation for tens of thousands of years. That separation created a paradox of strength and vulnerability. They remain among the world's most resilient small populations, yet possess extreme immunological sensitivity to outside pathogens. Despite this, their understanding of their environment is profound. After the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, aerial surveys revealed they had moved to higher ground before the waves struck, reading signs in wind, water, and animal behavior long before modern instruments registered the threat. Interactions with outsiders have been rare and, at times, tragic, including the 2018 death of John Allen Chow, an event that underscored the global responsibility to respect their autonomy. For the Sentinelese, survival is not expansion, but refusal, a decision to remain untouched in a world that continually tries to reach them. Number 2, the Tibetan and Sherpa lineage. High in the Himalayas, where mountains carve the sky and oxygen drops to levels that overwhelm unadapted lungs, Tibetans and Sherpa communities carved out a physiology unlike any other on Earth. Their secret lies in the EPAS1 gene, an adaptation with Denisovan ancestry that allows them to thrive with lower hemoglobin rather than higher, preventing blood from thickening dangerously at altitude. Instead of forcing more oxygen into their bodies, their systems use what little exists with extraordinary efficiency. Nitric oxide levels remain elevated, widening blood vessels and improving circulation where every breath must count. Yet biology is only half the story. Sherpa climbers weave spiritual traditions into mountaineering, honoring peaks long before global expeditions arrived. Kami Rita, who has summited Everest more than any person in history, embodies this intertwined legacy of culture, adaptation, and endurance. Their lives, from high-altitude villages to glacier-crossing routes, reveal a harmony with conditions that push most humans to the brink. Evolution borrowed from an ancient cousin, but the resilience is unmistakably their own. Number 1, the Saka of Yakutia. In the vast expanse of Siberia, where winter tightens its grip at -67 degrees Celsius and metal freezes at a touch, the Saka people built a life that seems impossible for the human body. Scientists found clues in genes like TBX15 and WARS2, which influence fat distribution and energy use, and in UCP-related mechanisms that enhance brown fat heat production. A biological furnace that generates warmth instead of merely storing calories. These adaptations help Saka bodies endure cold that would quickly overwhelm most humans. But survival here is also cultural. Yakutian horses, compact and resilient, provide transport and sustenance through blizzards that erase the horizon. Festivals like Ihyak celebrate renewal, while the ancient Olanko epic, recognized by UNESCO, carries stories that bind generations through myth and memory. In landscapes where daylight vanishes for weeks and air burns the lungs, the Saka do more than endure, they flourish. Their world proves that human physiology, guided by time, tradition, and relentless environment, can push far beyond what science once imagined possible. These 10 populations aren't superhuman. They are reminders that evolution never stopped sculpting us. Environments shape their bodies, cultures, and survival itself. If adaptation can rewrite human limits, imagine what the future might change in us. Like the documentary, subscribe, and share your theories in the comments below.